In the early 1970s, when human civilization was just beginning to realize its capabilities in the field of science and technology, humanity was faced with two exciting areas of exploration: the oceans and space. Scientific research in these areas promised endless discoveries and amazing possibilities. However, in the process of choosing priorities, something unexpected happened. Attention and resources were redistributed, and interest in space began to dominate. Let's look at why this happened and what factors played a decisive role in this shift. Part 1. The rise of interest in the oceans. In the early 20th century, the study of the oceans began to develop rapidly. Scientists such as Jacques Piccard and his famous bathyscaphe Trieste contributed greatly to the growth of interest in deep-sea exploration. The challenge posed by the ocean, its endless depths and hidden secrets, attracted explorers. Scientific expeditions went to sea with the aim of studying marine ecosystems, finding new species, and studying the chemistry of ocean waters. However, at the same time, space was changing every year. After World War II, the beginning of the Cold War, a serious rivalry arose between the USA and the USSR, which significantly accelerated the development of space technology. The launch of the first satellite, Sputnik, in 1957, marked the beginning of the space race. Humanity came very close to the cherished dream: space travel. Part 2. The transition period. Let's face it, the world's attention and funding for projects began to shift. In 1969, when NASA astronauts made a historic step on the moon, with each successful launch into the space arena, the world was increasingly boiling, while the oceans remained a mystery. It was not until the 1970s, but a particularly hot phase of space exploration scared the public attention away from the depths of the sea. Space became an ideal. It not only promised new mysteries, but also the potential for scientific and technological progress. How did this affect the exploration of the oceans? Instead of applied research aimed at solving environmental problems and studying living things on Earth, funds and resources began to be directed to the study of extraterrestrial objects. Part 3. Resources and priorities. The growing attention to space exploration was reflected in the budgets of government agencies. There were many areas requiring funding and attention: the creation of new space technologies, scientific research on the moon, programs to explore Mars, and other ideas that beckoned with their exciting prospects. At the same time, despite many discoveries in the field of oceanography, resources and budgetary allocations remained limited. When it came to scientific grants and investment in research, projects related to space caused a real furor. The emotions accompanying achievements in space, although amazing, distracted attention from important ecosystems on Earth. The ocean became an increasingly distant dream for explorers, while archaic views of the stars fragmented the imagination. Part 4. Problems on the planet. However, with each passing year, the problems on the planet deepened. Environmental disasters, climate change, and the deterioration of the oceans demanded attention. But the audience's attention had already shifted to new star projects. However, the ocean suddenly found itself in the shadows. At the same time, scientists, realizing the importance of the oceans for the ecosystem of the entire planet, tried to return interest and funding to research into the deep sea. Research into how the oceans affect the climate and humanitarian problems became increasingly relevant. But there was still a conflict between ocean research and the continuing interest in space. Part 5. Return to the sea. The gradually growing awareness of the importance of the oceans by the beginning of the 21st century inspired a new generation of scientists. The understanding that in order to survive, we need to take care of the planet and its resources became a top priority. Thus, a new era began: enriched research that connects space and the oceans through environmental protection and sustainable development measures. Space and the ocean are no longer antagonists. Deep drilling, underwater drones, and new technologies for studying the sea have started working, and more scientists continue to rediscover old secrets. It seems that the ocean, once forgotten, has once again become a field for research.